All right, so now that you know how to set the pipettes so that you are getting the right volume that you need, now we're going to learn how to actually use the pipettes themselves. Some of the different things that you're going to need, obviously, are your pipettes, but you're going to find what's called a rack. It's this yellow thing. There's a bunch of little holes in them. In those holes, you'll find tubes. Some of them empty, some of them may have liquid. In this first lab, we're going to reuse the tubes, so there you'll find a Q-tip so you can clean them out. You also will have a waste container in your bin for your team. And during some of our first labs, we will be centrifuging as well. So the first thing you need to do when you're pipetting is you need to choose the correct pipette. So for example, if I wanted 5.4 microliters, I would need to look at the different pipettes and make sure that I'm using one that fits within the range that the pipette can pick up. So if I wanted 5.4 microliters, I would be using a P20, which is this one here. Okay, up at the top it says 2 to 20. And then I would need to dial the pipette. Now to dial the pipette, what you're going to do is you might find, if you look right here, there's kind of there's a black knob. And it's really important though that you pay attention to what you're doing and you know what the numbers look like. Because if I want to go to 5.4, it's 0.54. This pipette can measure 0 to 0 all the way up to 200. 20 microliters. So it is possible to turn this black knob, and I only want you turning the black knob, never turn the button, because it's on a thin metal piece and that could bend easily. So you're always going to turn it by using this black knob. Now there is a lock on these. The lock is, there's kind of a black kind of sleeve that you can pull up if you want to lock it in place so that it stays on that and no one else can turn it. You guys won't be using the lock. I might sometimes have the lock on ones if I have stations set up that are only going to use a particular volume, but just leave the little lock part in the down position or the unlocked position. Now I'm going to turn this and I want it to be at 0.54. So if you see right now I'm at 139, 13.9. If I turn it in one direction, the numbers get bigger. It goes to 13.9, I'm up at 14.2, 14.3, 14.4. So it only moves like one knob at a time because it has to go through every single number. So you want to be careful again that you're not going to go above or below because it can get stuck and break the pipette. So I'm just going to keep turning it until I get to 0.54. So now I'm down at 11, 10, probably about 9 right now, 8. So I'm just going to keep going until I get to 5.4. Oh, I went too far. So I'm going to go back up a little bit. And now it's 0.54. Okay, when I'm at 0.54, I've dialed the pipette. Now I need to put a tip on. And there are different tips. In these red containers, these are the tips for the smaller pipettes, the ones that have yellow up at the top. And how you would use them is you would just push this down. You don't want to push too hard because you don't want to like snap the pipette, but you want to get it hard enough that the tip stays on. If I were to use the P1000, the bigger one, there's a bigger box of pipettes tips with bigger tips in them. Okay, so the two yellow ones get the smaller tips. The blue button gets the bigger tips. So I put a tip on. Now that I have a tip on, I always want to hold it in the upright position. I don't want to set it down on my table or hold it upside down because I don't want there to be any liquid or any confusion. I don't want you getting in the habit of holding it upside down. So once a tip's on, you have to hold it upright. Now, right here, there's kind of a little lip that can fit over my pointy finger. And I'm gripping it like this so that my thumb can get up to the top onto the button. Now, you're going to control the speed of this with your thumb. If you press down, there will be a stop, and my thumb kind of stops. But there's actually two stops. The first stop here, it's if I don't press very hard, I can get to the stop. Then I have to press even harder. Then I can get to the second stop. So there are two stops here, and you'll feel the difference. But when you let go, you want to let go slowly. You don't want to make any clicking noises. You don't want to let go too fast, because if you let go too fast, what's going to happen is it's going to cause a difference in pressure, and it's going to basically suck up too much liquid, and it's going to get to the barrel, and that will destroy the pipette. So you always want to just press really slowly and let go really slowly, slower than you think. You have muscles in your thumb, use them. Don't let go and make that clicking noise. Now when you're pipetting, so I'm going to take liquid from this tube and I'm going to place it at eye level when I'm sucking up the liquid. I want to watch and see what I'm doing so I'm not sucking up air on accident. All right, so to suck up liquid, you're going to go to the first stop. It's like our first step of getting liquid. So we're going to go to the first stop, which is just where I can gently rest my thumb on it. I don't have to press too hard. Then I'm going to put my tip into our source tube of liquid underneath the surface of the liquid, and I'm going to slowly release my thumb, and it has sucked up liquid. Now, once I've completely let go, then I can take my tip out of the tube. Sometimes you might have little bubbles on it, so you might need to just kind of drag it along the inside of the tip, or inside of the tube. I'm going to close my tube and put it back on my rack. And now I'm ready to spit out the liquid. I'm ready to get my target tube that I want to pipette into, which in this case will be this tube for today. Now I'm going to attach the tip to the side of the tube. This is a teeny tiny amount of liquid. It's not going to just drop when I release the plunger. So I need to have it stick to the inside of this tube. So I'm just going to touch it to the inside of the reaction tube. This time I'm going to press to the second stop, because this is kind of like my second set of steps. So I'm going to go, right now I've pressed gently to the first stop, now I'm going to press all the way down to the second stop. I'm keeping my thumb on it at the second stop. I don't let go until I'm completely out of the tube. So I'm going to withdraw the tip and I'm going to just drag it along the side in case anything's stuck. I'm still pressing at the second stop. When I'm completely out of the tube, now I can slowly release. You didn't hear a click because I was really slow releasing. Then you're going to dispose of your tip. So you're going to have a waste container. Here's my waste container. To dispose of the tip, right here, this kind of light colored part, if I put the tip over my waste container and press that, it will get rid of the tip. We'd never reuse the same tip twice. Okay, I would recommend watching this a few times before you actually pipette with a real pipette. Go through the steps. You'll see these pictures that will walk you through the steps in the yellow paper in your team's basket. So practice makes perfect. Make sure you follow all of the pipetting rules and follow the steps so that you get accurate results and the pipettes stay in really great shape.